Fresh vegetable, fresh vegetable, fresh vegetable. Analia fresh vegetable from Saijangu Anedu. Fresh vegetable, Sangiba Wanoka.
Many pregnant women in Uganda are on the threshold of anemia, which is caused by a lack of iron in their blood. At the same time, 33% of children under 5 years, that is 1 of every 3 children, are undernourished because of a lack of vitamins and minerals in their diet. It is for this reason that the Ministry of Health has prioritized iron and vitamin A as key nutrients, for it has found them to be deficient among the population. Households are for this reason periodically informed through health campaigns on the importance of having fresh vegetables as part of their meals. And when people buy vegetables from the market, they assume what they buy is fresh. But what does fresh mean?
It's fresh. Just look at the leaves. You see? The leaves. Yeah.
They don't look curled up at the edges, or like they've been left in the sun for too long. That's the only way I can tell.
Fresh vegetables are those vegetables that when bought are in the same condition as when they were harvested. Bright colored, firm and moist. Unfortunately, many vegetables we buy in the markets fall short.
These vegetables are best eaten when they are fresh. So the minute they start wilting, that means they are losing their nutritional value. The antioxidants, the vitamins are getting lost. And many people even don't think about that. They just know this is Nakati.
The market vendors know that the fresher the vegetables are, the higher the price they fetch. And so they improvise to keep the vegetables fresh, to try and preserve them.
In the markets, for example, the other practices they tend to do is dip them every 15 minutes in water. But each dipping in the water is draining nutrients out, if you remember osmosis.
But this is not the only point at which the vegetables lose nutrients. The nutrient depletion starts much earlier between the farm and the market.
They load the whole plant, or they tie them in big bales and bring them to town, and they throw these bales on trucks, pickup trucks or open trucks. Then there are those who sit on top of them or stand on top of them. All of this is causing damage on the leaves.
This nutrition depletion results in a loss at 3 levels. 1, a loss to the farmers who fail to sell wilted vegetables to the wholesaler or trader. 2, a loss to the traders that fail to sell their wilted vegetables to any consumers. And 3, a loss to the consumers who buy nutrient-deficient vegetables. Dr. Elizabeth is working with a group of scientists under the AFRI Soil Consortium to solve this problem. Their objective: to remove the monetary and nutritional loss across the supply chain of indigenous vegetables and replace it with value for money at every stage, from the garden to the market to the consumer. As a starting point, the scientists chose for the solution to focus on the indigenous vegetables of Nakati and Ntula.
They are God-given resources, and they grow very well in our conditions, very well such that you can even exploit them for income.
At the moment, these indigenous vegetables are categorized as neglected and underutilized. This means that their potential as cash crops is at the moment wasted, considering that they easily thrive in local conditions and considering that they are widely consumed across Uganda. Good information is required on Nakati and Ntula for their potential to be exploited. So the project seeks to add to the body of knowledge on Solenasi by providing more detail on Nakati and Ntula through a process known as characterization.
It is trying to gain an in-depth knowledge of something. So you look at it, physically, your observations, your measurements you can take, length, width, height, feeling it, the texture, and taking the colors.
Characterization goes beyond the physical, delving into the details of the chemical and biological composition and attributes of the plant. This information is invaluable as it provides the basis of economic viability of the plant.
It is generating information, basic scientific information that tells anyone out there that these crops are worth your attention and investment, because you get to know about them, you get to know about their physical characteristics, you get to know about what it takes to grow them, because we are also looking at yield per unit of area, what you get out, the biomass, but you're also looking at what is their content nutritionally. We call that biochemical. What are those living substances within this? The chlorophyll, the iron, the zinc, the vitamins, the anti-aging, anti-cancer fighting content of these vegetables.
This previously unavailable information is now documented, and more is being done. The AFRI Soil Consortium is sharing knowledge on these indigenous vegetables. This has happened at the farm camp that attracts more than 40 schools in Gayaza. The scientists also share information with farmer and farmer groups. And this knowledge has also been shared through presentations at conferences. But information in and of itself will not reverse the loss incurred by farmers, traders, and the consumers across the supply chain. Why have a high yield of vegetables whose shelf life is only 24 hours? A farmer can literally watch his effort and money go down the drain in the space of a day as the vegetables wilt. And that is where local and appropriate technology comes into the picture.
What we've introduced to the farmers is what we're calling a charcoal cooler. It's an appropriate technology which can be used for communities where they do not have electricity, to be able to put up a high investment cold chain system. And this one enables the farmers to keep the vegetables cool and fresh and also retain their nutritional quality.
A charcoal cooler is a room that is constructed with walls that are embedded with charcoal. The charcoal is constantly wetted with water dripping from a perforated tube. An elevated tank at the side of the room provides a source of freely flowing water. A fan driven by wind on the roof sucks warm air out of the room, which is then replaced by cool air passing through the wet charcoal walls.
Okay, we see that the charcoal cooler can be used at the on farm where they have harvested and vegetables are waiting to be transported, and also in the markets. In the market with the market vendors where they are selling small quantities, so they can have these charcoal coolers constructed whereby they keep the bigger quantities of nakati.
The charcoal cooler gives the vegetables, which previously had shelf life of only a day, shelf life of up to 4 days. It enables the farmer retain the nutritional value of vegetables as well as their monetary value. The other appropriate technology was designed to cater for loss during transit.
So this is an ongoing experiment with these farmers in Namalonge, whom we started with. We had different vegetables that they brought in, packed in different packaging materials, such as this, the nylon gauze meshed material, and the polyethylene bags that have been perforated, and then this other kind of packaging material, which we think is material that is available on the market, which they could also use for the vegetables. But as discussed in the training, one has to view the market and see what is viable or not. So nakati is a typical vegetable that our people are consuming, and therefore we wanted to experiment with the 3 packaging materials. The quality of the starting material should always be of a high quality.
Farm Gain Africa is the organization in the AFRI Soul Consortium that is responsible on gathering information on efficient delivery pathways. Put simply, it has to find out what market there is for the indigenous vegetables of Nakati and Ntula, and in so doing establish if they are worth producing at scale.
The first thing we saw is that Kalere market leads in the trade of indigenous vegetables in Kampala. We found that they are trading between 60 to 80 metric tons of indigenous vegetables every week, of indigenous vegetables every week, and that translates into a value of between 12 to 16 million shillings. Now that is at off-lorry value or wholesale value. Now if you take it to the retail value, that should double. So you're talking about probably 32 million worth of shillings entering into the pockets of those engaged in trading in these indigenous vegetables in just a single market.
This is the present value. Even before the different actors along the value chain adopt appropriate handling of vegetables to retain value over long periods and over long journeys. When these new approaches are adopted, the value will even be higher. And that change is slowly beginning.
Twayega ebintu kamaala omuli okulima mu layini n'okwawula.
Batusanga tulina enva zino weel naye nga tetuzitwala nga ekintu kikulu nnyo mu bulamu bwaffe, nga tetubeera na nsigo yazo, tetufaayo kuzirima kubeera nazo. Bwe tuba twagala okulya olumu tuno gabunozi ezimeze eyo ku mabbali g'enju oba mu nnimiro awalala, naye kati bajja ne tutula wamu ne batunyonyola bulungi ebirungi ebiri mu kulya enva zino.
Chakokula is helping the group in that there are at times when we get a complication that maybe the order is not yet the vegetables are ready. Maybe at times they tell us that on such and such a day we shall be in need of such and such a thing, such and such a thing, and in such and such an amount. So when we get time, we harvest, we go and put them in the charcoal cooler, waiting for the day when we are supposed to supply.